Welcome back, everybody. It's Rugby TV here with you. Jerome Parvater in studio with me. Jerome, how much thinking are the clubs doing now? If we look at where we are with regards to teams on the logs, in Super League A, B and C, they're all sitting around the 8 mark, the 7 mark. Of course, the southern city and northern regions, which we'll talk about in a second, they have now concluded their first round. Of course, the Paarl region goes into its second round now. But for the teams in Super League A, B, and C, is it now a question of, because 3 weeks ago they would have been saying, well, we still got to see where we are on the log, etc. But now it's literally game over, because we now know that there's probably only 8 teams. We'll look at the log in a second, but there's probably only 8 teams that can make it into the top 6, and a lot of it now is sort of out of your hands because it's going to depend on the results of other teams.
Yeah, and that's normally, as a coach, you tell your players that's not where you want to be. You don't want other teams to get your results. You have to make your own results. That's normally when the season starts, when you tell your players, look, this is where we want to be. We don't want to be dependent on the other team to give us points or to win or to lose. We have to make our own results. So it's going to be tight now, where in this stage of the competition, you know where you're on the log. But I also think there's still a lot to play for. You can't give up. If you give up, you're not going to make it.
Well, let's take a look then at the logs and see where we actually stand. So currently we're sitting at the log in Super League A. We see Helderberg sitting at number 1, followed by Unimil, UCT, Durban, Hamiltons, and then Brackenfell and Villages. And if you look at those games there, folks, and just look at the log points, Helderberg sitting on 34, Unimil sitting on 34, UCT, they've got a game on hand, they're sitting on 30, Durban, they've got a game in hand, they're sitting on 27, and then it's Hamilton's sitting on 25. So when we start looking at 5, 6, 7, and 8, we see that there is still a little bit of movement there. So Jerome, when you look at that log there, you can see what I mean by the top 8, all the way down to False Bay. When it gets to Tygerberg, it's game over. There's no getting into the top 6 anymore. You can't make the numbers. Whereas False Bay, they're sitting on 19. If they had to win the rest of their games, depending on how they play, they could potentially get above. Because if you look at what False Bay have still got, they've still got 6 games to play this season. 6 games. If you're getting your 5 points in each game, 6 games is 30 points. So 30 points there's still room for movement here. Whereas for Tygerberg, it looks like it's a step too far to be able to climb, because they're just too far behind. I don't think from a False Bay Villages point of view, they're a little bit above the curve. But the interesting thing for me here, Jerome, is that although teams are looking at the moment for teams number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, perhaps even up to 7, and they're all saying to themselves, that's what we have to focus on. The interesting thing that one has to identify on this log is that Marties have only played 5 games. Marties still have got another 9 games to play in this log. And once they start getting, and we know Marties is going to come with momentum, once they come, it's going to put themselves somewhere into the top 6, and it's going to bump down some of those teams that are currently in striking distance. It's going to throw the whole top 6 upside down.
Yeah, we know the quality, the players that Marties have, and also now Kabamba Floors is the new Marties coach. He's appointed now, so I think he will also want to prove a point. So obviously, and he's a good coach. So obviously, Marties got a lot of games in hand. So if you look at, they basically the team that still have a chance lying lower down, like you say, up and maybe till Tygerberg. But the rest of the teams from Falls by Villages up, there's still pretty much a lot for them to play to.
Yeah.
And if you look at, I mean, obviously teams now, they're going to have to catch up. So I think advice to teams or players now, if you want to make it, you have to score at least 3 tries in the first half. So change your game plan. Play decent rugby, play in the right areas of the field, and score when you have to take your points. That's the only way you're going to make it.
So if you want to put yourself in this, you have to play attacking rugby. You've got to play to win, not play just to survive. You've got to play to win.
You've got to play to win.
Yeah.
Play in the right areas of the field.
Because you've got nothing to lose.
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 Yeah.
So play in the right areas of the field, get your points, equip your players to score and take as much points as you can get out of the game.
All right, well, we wanted to show you one of the games that you missed last week. This is the match between Gordons Bay Pioneers and Strand United. This was a very exciting game. Jerome, have a look at this and then give us your comments. Well, there we go, folks. Welcome back. Jerome, there was, of course, a big match there between Gordons Bay Pioneers and Strand United. Fantastic, fun game to watch. Your thoughts?
Yeah, look, Gordons Bay scored a couple of tries here now, as you see, but Strand was good on defense. So they didn't make it easy, but Gordons Bay just had a lot of patience, and they got their points when they had their points. But like I say, Strand was defending well, but Gordons Bay just keep on keeping the pressure on them. And I saw 2 tries that they score. Again, inside the 22, they got points every time when they're inside Strand's 22.
Unfortunately, well, of course, Strand United then, of course, sitting now at number 2 on the log in the Northern League. That means they get through to promotion round. Gordons Bay Pioneers unfortunately just miss out, ending the log then in 4th place. And folks, let's quickly then take a look. Well, before we do that, when we come back, we are going to talk about the various logs. But let's just, folks, remind you about MChem 24-hour pharmacy. MChem is, of course, on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. The weather has changed now. As you know, we're starting to get out of winter, but you've got to be thinking about your immune system as well. And of course, MChem 24-hour pharmacy is the pharmacy to go. They can give you the best advice. They can also talk to you about your flu vaccinations. Do not be mistaken, folks. There are still folks that are battling with flu. There you can see MChem 24-hour pharmacy behind me right now. But when you go to MChem, you're going to get the best advice. You've got qualified nursing sisters on duty 24/7. And in fact, I was speaking to somebody the other day, and they were telling me that they will drive long distances just to go to MChem to get the right advice and get the fantastic deals that they also have at MChem. So if you want to get out to MChem, corner of N1 and Durban Road, they've got all the various zones for you there as well. Upstairs, there's a sports supplement zone. There's a spa. There's a travel clinic. There's a fantastic restaurant. And don't forget, of course, as you know, any pharmacy, the dispensaries downstairs, a number of dispensaries with qualified pharmacists to help you with whatever it is that you need. And then just from a product point of view, best product quality, they're always aiming for the gold standard. And if they don't have a product, they'll make sure that they get it for you. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll carry on talking club rugby. Back in a sec.